Hey, what's up, my ninja? Shinobi here, bringing you another WoW Classic video. This is a highly requested video from a lot of people in my stream over on twitch.tv/Shinobi Live. Come and check it out if you have any more questions or comments about these things, or you just want to watch some gameplay, some PvP, some raiding, gold making, and all sorts of things like that. We have a pretty awesome community there, so I'd love to have you guys. However, this video is about something that's been really recommended a lot, and that is gold making. You know, I've had viewers tell me that they don't have an epic mount yet. I've seen people in game tell me they don't have an epic mount yet, and I just shake my head like, how is this even possible? The game has been out for so long now. There are so many ways of making gold in the game, and it really comes down to one simple thing: time and effort. That's all it comes down to. There's no skill-based gold making in the game. You don't have to be good at making gold to make gold. You just have to put the effort in. You have to put the time in. That's all you have to do. I'll give you an example here. So let me go ahead and just cherry pick one little thing for you, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this right here. Here's a calculator. Okay, so one of the things on the list here, and I'm going to get into the list of stuff, but one of the things on the list here is small flame sacks. Small flame sacks sell for, right now, if I take a look, small flame sack. Small flame sacks sell for 1 gold and 4 silver each right now. That's the lowest value that they sell for. When I sell things on the auction house, I always base it around the lowest value, not the medium value, and not the most value. I always base it around the lowest value because I know it's going to pretty much insta-sell by selling it the cheapest that's on there. And that's like the minimum amount that you're going to get for it. So we're just going to say 1 gold to make things easy, right? My buddy the other night was farming some small flame sacks, and those are used for fire protection potions, not greater ones, these ones right here, the fire protection potions. They're using for this, and people will use them in Molten Core and Onyxia and stuff like that to help them survive some fire damage. Now, with that said, the more popular one is the greater one, but we're going to talk about that in a second. So with that said, my friend was farming some small flame sacks, and he was making about 40 gold per hour. He did this for a few hours, and on average, he was making about 40 gold per hour. He's getting about 40 of them per hour, which is nice. And then you also get other stuff while you're farming that too. So if you think 40 gold per hour, and you do that 4 hours a day, that's going to be 160 gold per day. That's guaranteed gold pretty much. And then let's say you do this 3 times a week, times 3. That's 480 gold per week for playing 4 hours a day doing this, right? And then you say times 2, because that's 2 weeks, that's 960 gold. Hey, look, you have your epic mount, and it only took you 2 weeks to do that. In fact, it only took you 4 hours a day, 3 days a week over a 2-week period of time to do that. Priority number 1, when I hit level 60, I got my epic mount. That was the first thing I did. First thing I did, like pretty much a few hours after I hit 60, I had my epic mount already. How did I do that? Well, I'll go ahead and explain. At level 40, I got my regular mount. And during that time, I farmed in this area right here, which was Arathi Highlands, in this area over here, the Circle of West Binding. I farmed these elementals because they gave me XP, which is decent XP per hour, and I also got elemental fires. At the time, elemental fires were selling for 2 gold each. Well, elemental fires are now selling for about almost 6 gold each on the auction house. Now, I sold mine way back then so I could get the gold that I needed to get my epic mount, but things have changed, right? So doing that same thing now is going to net you almost 3 times the amount of gold. I made a couple hundred gold in just about a level or so, grinding in that location. Another thing that I did is I went to Ashara and I grinded when I was in my mid-50s, lower 50s. I grinded the demons in Ashara and the demons in Fellwood for Fellcloth, sold that Fellcloth in the auction house, made another couple hundred gold doing that. When I got to about high 50s, almost 60, I went to Ungoro as a hunter, and I soloed the Devil Sores, and I skinned them, and I was able to rack up the rest of the gold that I needed to buy my epic mount by the time I hit level 60. That's it. That's literally it, and I had it by the time I hit 60. If you want to make gold, it's as simple as time and effort. That's it. So let's go ahead and get into some of the things you can do for farming gold in WoW Classic. So I have a whole list of them here, and I'm going to run through each one. I'm going to go in the auction house and show you them. So the first one so the first thing you need to know when you're thinking about making golds, right, is what do people need? Well, people need certain things, and these are some of the things that people need. So I've made a list of things that people need, and that's a great way to make gold, because if people need it and the mass majority of people need it, it's going to sell quickly. And that's the whole point. You want to sell all the stuff. So, first thing I said was elemental fires. I just said that a second ago. Elemental fire is awesome. Why is elemental fire awesome? I mean, you can look right now. There's only 3 on the auction house, and they're super needed. They're needed for greater fire protection potions, which are used in Molten Core and Nyxia. And you have to think that majority of the people on your server are probably pretty casual at the game. They don't, they don't have it, like, they're not in a super strict guild that, like, clears Molten Core in like 30 minutes or something. So a lot of guilds out there are going to need these fire protection potions because they need that a little bit of extra help to avoid taking damage, or maybe they're not geared enough to, like, they don't have enough fire resistance or something like that on their gear, so they're going to need this stuff, and it just makes everything much easier, right? So this is an example of one of those things. So elemental fires are awesome. Where do you get elemental fires? Well, I told you about the Arathi spot right here, Circle of West Binding. By the way, anything I mention in this video, if you want to look it up, Classic DB. You just type in elemental fire, and then you just go right here, and boom, you look at where these drop, right? This is stuff that you just actively need to do. Because if it's as simple as opening up a website. It's literally that easy, man. Like, it really is. It's just, the problem is people don't put the effort in. And if you put the effort in, I'm telling you, you could make 10, 20, 30,000 gold easy peasy. You just got to put the time and effort in. That's it. It's not a skill-based thing. I'm not a big fan of making gold. I made the gold that I needed to make, and I don't really care after that. So, I've made, the gold that I've made, and I'll give you an example of, I have like my Mirban Signet that I have here that I bought off the auction house. I have my 100 HP enchanted pants and helm, which cost me like 300 gold each for those. I have consumables that I buy every week. I have my ancient sinew. I have 16 slots. I always make my own arrows. I always use the thorium arrows no matter what it is that I'm doing. I always have my consumables. Like I said, I bought my epic mount right away when I hit 60. I've loaned gold to people, and right now I'm sitting at like 500 gold. I mean, I could have a lot more than that. I haven't farmed gold in like 3 weeks, so that's what I'm saying. Like, because I've been PvPing, so keep that in mind. I'm just trying to paint a picture. You get it. It's easy to make gold. It just takes time and effort. So anyway, the other location here for the elemental fire is Ungoro. These fire guys in the middle, they drop Essence of Fire, which is also good to sell. Not as, it's decent. And then they drop the elemental fires as well. And then you can also get the rich thorium nodes that are right around that area. If you're a miner, that's another bonus for you. Another thing, like I said, is small flame sacks before. Small flame sacks. Like I said, they're used in just the regular fire potions. Where are they located in the world? Let me show you. So there are this area over here, whelplings. They always drop off of whelplings. So whelplings in this little area to the left over here. Then we have one in Badlands, which is over here. There is whelplings in this area as well. Then there's also whelplings over here. Down here there are whelplings that drop small flame sacks. They're also in the wetlands. These are areas you can do just even while you're leveling up. That's what I did. While I was leveling up, I saved up a bunch of small flame sacks, sold them later, and made a bunch of gold. Like, literally, that's it. I was just grinding these mobs for XP and just getting gold while doing it, So small flame sacks. Another thing here is herbs. So, of course, you have your Black Lotus, right? Black Lotus is amazing. I spelled it wrong. Oops. Black Lotus is amazing. They sell for like 80 gold each, 90 gold, whatever, sometimes more. But the thing is they're pretty rare. They're on like a 4-hour respawn timer or a 2-hour respawn timer or something like that, I believe. I don't do herbing, so I don't know, but it's things that I've heard. But But yeah, it was, I think it's like a 2-hour respawn timer. So Black Lotus is really good, but it spawns particular areas, highly contested, obviously, because it's just fast, easy gold if you were to happen to run into it right away. You know, that's what people are looking for, right? So, so yeah, you kind of want to, if you're going to farm Black Lotuses, I would farm for the other herbs in that area where Black Lotuses can spawn, and if you happen to come across a Black Lotus, hey, that's just a nice big bonus, right? So there's lots of different herbs out there. All the high-level herbs, ice caps, mountain silver sage, um, you know, all that stuff is going to obviously be selling on the auction house. So we take a look at um, mountain silver. Mountain silver sage is 91 silver right now. If you pick up a node and you get 3 of them off of it, boom, there's over 2 gold for you right there, just like that. You just got to run around more and find more of these things. And then moving on next, we have mining. So minerals like arcane crystals, for instance. Like arcane crystals, 40 gold a pop. I've sold so many arcane crystals. What I've made, a lot of my gold that I've made is from arcane crystals. Popular areas that I like are Winter Spring, because of the rich thorium nodes. It's about a 15-minute respawn timer for rich thorium. And you can get arcane crystals out of them. You can get blue sapphires out of them, which sell really well as well. And then we have Ungoro, which is great. What I typically do is I will check the middle for rich thorium, and then I'll come down this side and check this area. A lot of people skip out on this area, so usually I find them there pretty often. And then you do a loop around the outside, and then see if there's anything there, and then we go back in through the way we came, and then we do it again. So rinse and repeat, yada yada. There you go. Another place that's really good for rich thorium if you're a rogue, and this is where some people have made a crap ton of gold, is this is one thing I always like. It's funny when people say like, oh, well, certain classes just don't farm as much gold as other classes. Like, I'm a rogue, so I can't farm as much elemental fire as, say, a hunter can, right? Because we can tag things better. Yeah, but Peo is on this server, he has probably more gold than just about anybody, or at least up there. And what does he do? He goes stealth, and he goes into Silithus, and he farms rich thoriums inside here, the ooze-covered ones. So, because, like, Rogue is pretty much the only class that can do this efficiently. And it's amazing. So, you got to think about what class you're playing, and what your strengths and weaknesses are, and then take that in consideration when you're farming gold. So yeah, you can get thorium minerals that come off of the rich thoriums, the small thoriums. My friend got a blue sapphire off a small thorium, which is pretty crazy. Very rare though. And then yeah, you can just do that stuff. Also, there's other ones that are really good too, like getting mithril, getting iron. These are needed as well in the auction house. Like heavy stones and solid stones, those are needed because people use them for engineering, right? So it's like, if you take a look at heavy stone. Heavy stone is selling for like 10 silver each right now, and then solid stone is selling for 18 silver each right now. And you see, like, if I want to buy a stack of 20, that's going to cost me almost 4 gold right there. And this is a low-level thing you can farm. One spot that's really good for farming these lower-level ones like this is go to Swamp of Sorrows, and you run around the outsides of the map, and then you come to this cave, and you mine in there. One loop around of this map, because typically no one else is here, but one loop around of this map, you might make anywhere from 3 to 5 gold maybe. Just one loop, just like that. You know, obviously it's faster if you have an epic mount. That's why it's really important to get that quickly, not just for PvP, but for other things. So that's mining stuff. Enchanting stuff, you know, if you find an item, right? I'm going to give you an example of an item right here. So you take a look at my Goblin Rocket Helm right now, right? You can see that with my add-on, it shows me how much it vendors for, it shows me how much it auctions for, and it shows me how much it disenchants for on average. So sometimes you'll get an item that you're just out looking at, and you'll be like, it vendors for 2 gold, but it on average will disenchant for 10 gold, because it'll give you like 2 greater astrals or whatever. Then sell it, send it to your bank alt that has enchanting, and disenchant it and sell the things on the auction house. Just easy gold like that. Instead of vendoring something, you just turned it into a bigger profit, right? So that's one thing you can do. Also with alchemy, alchemy is another thing that you get a lot of consumables, right? There's a lot of consumables that are really, really good, like if I take a look at Elixir of Mongoose, right? I want these for raiding. I love these for raiding, but look, 4 gold each. You could bake these yourselves with materials. You can go farm the materials, or you can just buy the materials off the auction house, make this, make a little bit. If you're going to buy them off the auction house, obviously you're going to make less of a profit, but then you can just make it. And then you can sell them off, and people are going to need them, right? And then, you know, you have other things too, like restorative potions. Restorative potions, this is like one of the craziest items in the whole game, by the way. If you use a restorative potion in Molten Core, in a lot of situations, that saves so that people don't have to dispel you, and you can just get dispelled automatically. It's also really good in PvP. I use these in Molten Core, and look, I mean, 2 gold right here. I mean, whoever's selling these, I'm gonna buy them every time. I'm gonna buy them. I have 3 on me right now, you know, every time, man. It's great. But yeah, just a few examples. Look up some consumables. Think about what consumables do people need. If I was raiding, if I was doing this, what do I need? And then farm the materials for it, sell those materials, or craft that stuff yourself, depending on the profession that you have. Then moving into cloth. Cloth is another thing. So we have silk cloth, mage weave, fell cloth, rune cloth. So silk cloth, I would suggest doing Scarlet Monastery for silk cloth. Definitely really good. For mage weave, you're looking at maybe something like doing, whoops, I'm on the wrong side of the world. Doing something like ZF, getting some mage weave from that. You can get a lot of mage weave from ZF. People need the mage weave. Fell cloth, like I talked about, in Fellwood and Ashara for the demons, killing the demons. They drop fell cloth. They drop demonic runes as well, which is useful for raiding. And then rune cloth, you know, you can get rune cloth just if you're level 60, you're getting rune cloth no matter what you're doing. But one spot that is pretty good, there's a lot of spots that are good, but one spot that's pretty good, I'll give you this little tip here, is Burning Steps. This area right here, you kill these humanoids, they drop a lot of rune cloth. And there are orcs that you go through. Plus, there's like small solid chests that are in here that you can like unlock. There's a rare mob in there that's guaranteed to drop at least a green. I have found a couple BOE epics in this particular spot just because I farmed it a lot for rune cloth over the years, back in the day and nowadays. But yeah, it's a pretty good spot. Another thing is righteous orbs. You know, over in Eastern Plaguelands, doing Strat Live, going through with a group and being like, hey, if we get some orbs to drop, this is typically how we do it. We'll round robin the orbs. So let's say an orb drops, everybody rolls need on it. Whoever wins it doesn't get to roll on the next one, because we want to make sure everybody gets a righteous orb. So by doing one run of Strat Live, you could get your entire group to each get a righteous orb. So you all made like 20 gold or whatever. Like righteous orbs right now are probably about 20 gold. 24 gold, 25 gold. So you know, everybody would get one, right? And you just kind of have that idea with people. We're going to talk about this a little bit later, but you could also sell a tank service where you say, hey, I reserve the righteous orbs in here and I'll tank the dungeon for you. It's an example you can do if you're a warrior or a druid. And then we also have dark runes. Dark runes is another thing, man. Those have been popping off lately, dark runes. Dark runes have been, whoops, I spelled, there we go. Dark runes, man, are like 6 gold almost right now because, and it's so crazy that they're like 6 gold because what they do is they do the same thing that demonic runes do. So this pretty much, by saying this, that dark runes are like 6 gold, is saying that people are too lazy to go farm in Fellwood for demonic runes, right? And they'd rather just buy them off the auction house. That's a perfect opportunity for you to go run some Skolamonts, that's where they drop, and reserve it if you're the tank or something, or round robin it with your group, and you guys can get a couple dark runes each, sell them on the auction house, boom, just like that. Rinse and repeat, you making gold, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, it's dark runes, perfect opportunity to make some gold there. Another thing is essences. I want to talk about those. These are things you can farm pretty easily as well. So we have essence of water. Essence of water sell for about 15 gold right now. I've seen them as high as 20 gold each. Those are quite nice, and you get those in Fellwood right up here, and you get them off of the water guys here. Really contested area though, especially PvP wise, so be careful of that. And that's something, you know, like I said earlier, make sure that if you're doing these highly contested areas, do them late at night, early in the morning when other people aren't on. You know, that's a tip I can give you. So and then then we have Essence of Air as well. So let's take a look at Essence of Air. 20 gold each right now. 2 stacks of 1 right here. These will drop down in Silithus, right in this area, off the air elementals. There's a spot for you. And then we also have Fire, which is what I said before about that one spot. The Essence of Fire will drop in. These are typically going to be lower price. Now, the reason why these are lower is because a lot of people do Molten Core, and Essence of Fire drops a lot in Molten Core, and guilds will sell these off to get gold for their bank. And yeah, so yeah, so you can see that, but yeah, this spot would be where you would get the Essence of Fires, but in Molten Core they drop a lot, so not really the best essence to farm there, but it's a bonus thing if you're farming for other stuff. Now, that's some things that you can go and farm in the world, but there's many more where that came from. Now I'm going to give you a few things that you can do that are not just farming materials or whatever. So first thing here is carry people through dungeons. On one of my alts, I have a shaman. This shaman right here, level 46. I went from level 30 to 40 in about 12 hours. And I went from 40 to 46 in a really short amount of time. Because what I did was I went to SM, and I found a mage or a warrior that was running through. And what they do is they go, okay, let me have all the drops. Give me 1 gold or 2 gold per run, and I will run you through, and you get all this XP, right? And that's what I did. And it cost me probably 50 gold to get from like 30 to mid 40 something. Right? It cost me like 50 gold. For me, I didn't really care, right? Because I want to level quickly. But for them, they're making bank off that. You know, if you think about it, do the math on that real quick. So let's pull up the calculator again. You pull up the calculator. Let's say you're doing runs for people, right? Each run, you don't want to take any longer than 12 minutes, right? So you're going to do 5 runs per hour, right? So if each person is giving you 1 gold, it's 1 gold times, 1 gold times 4 times 5. That's 20 gold per hour you're making just off of carrying them through. Then you're getting the items in the dungeon as well. So you'll get blues that vendor for like a gold or 2. You'll get grays, you'll get silk cloth, stuff like that. You can make anywhere from 30 to 40 gold per hour just running people through this stuff. And that's charging people 1 gold each. I've seen people charge people 2 gold or 3 gold each run. And that's like, even if it's 3 gold each run times 4 people times 5 runs per hour, that's 60 gold per hour running people through dungeons. I mean, right now, people do not want to level up the legitimate way. They want to level up as quick as possible for their alts, and they're willing to pay gold to do that. If I told you, like I have alts right now, if I said, hey, dude, I'll give you 300 gold to get me from 1 to 60, like run me through dungeons, do quests with me, just get me there super quickly, I would easily pay 300 gold for that. I'd probably pay 400 or 500 gold for that, right? Capitalize on that. If people are willing to pay, be the one that's there making them pay. Then we also have Marden runs. So this is more of a hunter thing. Warlocks can do this. Shadow Priests can do this, running through Marden, just killing the bosses inside of Mara, which is located in Desolace, over in this area right over here. So, you know, you can go do this. You have to make sure you have the Cerebrus Scepter to do that. It's okay. You know, you might make 30, 40 gold per hour doing that, and it's chill, and it's all right. You also have the DM North runs that you can do. So if I take a look down in Feralis here, and we look at DM, so you go into DM North, you kill the bosses, you do the tribute runs as a hunter. It's really good. You can sell some of the items off to people. make gold that way. You can make a decent amount of gold definitely doing DM North runs as a hunter. Other classes can't really do it to my knowledge. There are things you can do in there though, like my buddy Bobby. He got an idea from EBN, from Ebb and Flow. He got an idea from him where he talked about how in DM North you kill like the little bugs or whatever, and you AoE them down as a druid, and you just get like stuff off of them, you get greens off of them, you have chances at certain things, and you know, he makes a consistent 30-40 gold an hour doing something like that, and it's nice. And then what else do we have here? Oh yeah, talking about Dire Mall as well, you have Dire Mall East runs, so these are called jump runs. So I would Google what a jump run is, like go on YouTube and go jump run. Lots of classes can do this, and combinations of classes can do this, where you go into Dire Mall East and you essentially jump down into the middle area and you kill little bug guys, you kill the bosses, you kill the last boss, and then you can go and loot the herbs and the rich thorium veins that are in there as well. And you just rinse and repeat do this. You can do this solo. Some classes can do majority of it solo. Some classes can do the whole thing solo, right? Some players, it's a little bit more of a skill-based thing, and you got to get used to it. And then, you know, or you can just go with a friend and be like for instance, what I did with my friend, my druid friend, he does herbalism. I said, you can have the herbs that are in there. I'll get the mines that are in there. And then we'll split everything else 50-50. And we just go through and just boop, 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 kill everything. And, you know, so that's an option as well. Another thing is selling tank services. I talked a little bit about this earlier with righteous orbs. So righteous orbs are good for selling tank services, collecting those off people. But you can also just be like, hey, there's a guy in my guild that does it. And he will literally be like, hey, 30 gold, whatever dungeon you want me to tank for you. Someone, either a combination of people in the group or the one person in the group, give me 30 gold. I'll be your tank for you, because tanks are hard to come by. So it's kind of a scummy thing to do, honestly. But at the end of the day, if there's a market for it and people are willing to pay, then there's no stopping it. It's gonna happen, right? So now, also, another thing you can do is farming for the mature blue sinew. This is something that you can do up here in this area right over here. The blue dragons, the elite dragons, you can farm this solo, and they have a chance to drop a mature blue sinew. So we take a look at mature blue sinew. There's none on the auction house right now. That's crazy. None on the auction house. Usually they sell for like 600 gold, something like that. 500-600 gold, sometimes a little bit less, it depends. No, there's none on the auction house right now. It's crazy. But yeah, mature blue sinews are nice. It's for the quiver that hunters need for their thing. So I got this myself, but yeah, people are willing to pay for that, And then on top of that, you could also get the Eye of Shadow. Eye of Shadow. Eye of Shadow is another one. That's almost 400 gold, 500 gold for Eye of Shadow. And when you get that in Winter Spring, these elites down here, you kill the elites down here and they can drop the Eye of Shadow. And that's something that priests need for their Anathema Benediction quest, for their staff, right? So this is also another option or something you can do. You can just farm those elites over and over again. If you can kite it as a hunter, if you go with a group of friends, you guys split the profits together. You can do it solo, like I said, as a hunter, or like maybe a mage. You can just frostbolt it over and over again. You can, it just really, these types of things are going to be a little bit more advanced for people. But if you're looking for me personally, I like mindless farming. I like where I can just run around, collect some rich thorium nodes, come down here, maybe kill some fire elementals, collect some nodes, run around the outside, collect some nodes. Like, that's enough for me. What I'll typically do is I'll farm for 30 minutes to an hour every day. And I haven't in the last 3 weeks. That's why I'm running out of gold pretty much, because I've been spending a lot of gold. Anyway, and the last and final thing I'll talk about for making gold in WoW Classic is the selling water and food. As a mage, I have friends that sit in Kargath all day. They sit in Kargath all day. Right here. Where the heck? There we go. They sit in Kargath all day, and they just sell water and food, and they make thousands upon thousands of gold over an extended period of time. Like, there's one guy that's there, his name's like 2/3 or something like that. He opened up a trade with one of my friends. All he does is sell water and food, and he has like 9,000 gold, and he has epic mounts on multiple characters, and like, you know, you can make 2, 3, 400 gold a day. It just depends on how much you do it. You know, people will tip you 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 gold at a time or something because they want to get all that water and that food and stuff. So yeah, definitely recommend that as well. So there's a lot of ways to make gold, guys, but what it really comes down to at the end of the day is you. How much time and effort you put into it. And if you take a second to just, you know, search on Classic DB or Wowhead, oh, this item, you know, looks good. You know, where do I find more of these? And then you search on there. Oh, you can find them right here. Maybe I'll go farm those for a while and see, you know, how much gold I make per hour. Keep track of your gold per hour that you make too. Make sure that things are lucrative enough for you to be doing that spot. I know there might be some comments of people saying, well, Shinobi, just tell me the best way of making gold. No, there's no best way of making gold. It comes down, it's so situational. And then even if there is a best way of making gold, it's going to be highly contested, and then it's no longer going to be the best way of making gold, right? Like, so, and there's RNG is also always a factor. Like, sure, can you make 10, 40,000 gold farming for arcane crystals or black lotuses? Sure, but sometimes you go on a dry spout and you don't find any for like a couple days, you know? So it's like, it's RNG, man, and it comes down to time and effort, and that's it. That's it. So, yeah, get out there, get your epic mount. Don't let me see you without one, plain and simple. Because if I find you in the world without an epic mount, you're going to wish you had one. So, anyways, till next time, guys, my name is Shinobi, and as always, thanks for watching.